Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be doing a makeup brand review from the brand Lumene. Welcome back, and today we're doing something a bit different. So instead of having my sort of bi-monthly makeup review video that I usually do from like every other makeup product except for eyeshadows in my channel, we are doing a single brand review from Lumene, which is a Finnish, I would say, a drugstore brand. Their pricing varies. Their cheapest products I think are under 10 euros, but some of them products are like over 25 euros, so they are in the sort of more mid-range category of drugstore pricing. And as I said, this is a Finnish brand, and they do go quite heavy on with the sort of Nordic beauty aesthetics that they advertise in their products and in their social media channels. I have almost full face here. I don't have eyeshadow palettes, but that's more because they only have one eyeshadow palette currently in their collection. I can put a picture of it over here, and it was a very sort of average looking neutral 6-pan eyeshadow palette, and even though I've been liking my neutral eyeshadow palettes, I saw that the price of it was like I think almost 27 euros, and the eyeshadows weren't anything special. If it would have had some kind of special shades or something, but this was like just in the store, seeing the tester of the palette, it looked to be very average eyeshadow palette with this sort of very traditional, almost satin leaning shimmers and then 3 matte. So I thought that that would be me wasting money, because I knew I probably would not have used the palette after review. But the rest of these products we should have almost, as I said, full face. Another category of products we don't have here are brow products, but I really don't do my brows that often, so I wasn't going to buy brow products that I knew that it would probably take a while before I would actually be able to get to using them. But as always, we'll go through this by category. So we're first gonna go through the base products, then we're gonna go through the cheek product, because I think we have only one. And then there's a few lip products, and lastly there is a mascara that I will be talking about. And so most of these are actually on my face today, so you'll kind of see how they're looking. First, let's go to the base products that I've been wearing. So first, let's discuss the foundation. So this is the Natural Glow Fluid Foundation. This is one of their more expensive products, and actually the more expensive foundations. Most of their foundations go under 20 euros, but this is the more expensive one. This, I think, it goes around to 25 euro price mark, unless you get this on sale. This is in the shade 05 Light. This is a bit of a orangey leaning shade for me. I think I should have gone with the 00, which is the fairest shade that I think they have across all their sort of base product categories. But since we are on the summer months, I think we can manage with this one. I do think this is quite, how should I say, fits the description. So this is a glowier hydrating foundation. I have been now on a journey because my skin has changed in a couple of years to more of a combo to dry skin. So I thought that this would maybe be a good way to start seeing that how I feel wearing this sort of more glowier foundation. How I've been wearing this is that I put this all over my face. I do prefer putting this with a sponge, as I have used it today. I tried a couple of times using with a brush, but with brush I felt that you could get this with a brush to a full coverage opacity, but it was quite cakey looking, so I like it more with a sponge because it sort of, I think, blends in with my skin a bit better. But I have, aside from blending this with my sponge, I have put my powder over this one, and I do feel that with the powder this sort of lasts relatively okay on me. I do feel that on a long day, if I put my makeup around 8 o'clock and then I take it off around 8 and 9 o'clock in the evening, I then do feel that at the end of the day this kinda does go to the sort of category of glowy, where it's beginning to be too much, where I look that I have like oils on all over my skin. So if you are someone who suffers from extremely dry skin, I do think you're gonna like this one. It is very skin-like foundation. I do think the medium coverage setup that where I'm wearing this one is how this looks the best. As I said, you can get this build full coverage with a brush, but it can look a bit a mask-like, so I would not recommend maybe using this with a brush, but doing the sort of medium layer with this one, I do think this looks nice. So I think overall this was a pretty good start, but I do think that I might try, because they have a CC cream on their line, and I think that has a bit more of a satin finish, which I think would maybe go more with my sort of makeup preferences. So I think I will try the CC cream next. It is cheaper than this one, but if you are looking for a good glowy foundation, this is a good option. It is more on the expensive side. The only minus thing that I would say about this one is the plastic cap. So this one is the only cap you're gonna get with this particular product, and this is a very flimsy flimsy cap, and I would think that since this is a more of their expensive foundation, and I certainly have had like cheaper foundations in a pump that have a proper cap, I would be pretty afraid traveling with this one because the cap you get is so flimsy and it's so loose that it's very easy, it comes off very easily. So that's the only like minus point maybe toward this one. Then the concealer, and this is from their CC line, so this is the CC All Over Concealer, and this is also in the shade 0.5 Light. This is actually a pretty good shade match, so there seems to be a bit of variation how the same shade number looks with different products. I think this is going to be going to my favorite concealer so far that I have tried during this year. This is truly a medium coverage concealer, and they advertise this as a medium coverage concealer, and I think this does what it is exactly advertised it to be, and I do think especially now with summer months, and especially someone who maybe is also doesn't have the most freshest of under eye skin anymore, I do think this feels quite lovely when you apply it under your eyes, and I don't mind it that it's a medium coverage concealer. This has a very similar texture to the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I do think the High Glam Concealer, at least for me, I could get it to be full coverage, so I think that this is one of those products that if you kind of like the texture of the High Glam Concealer, but you're okay with a medium coverage result, I do think this is actually a pretty good option if this is a brand that you can easily get. But the concealer, very nice, very creamy under your eyes, and the finish is quite smooth, doesn't emphasize, at least with me, textures, and does behave well because I do still like to powder down my under eyes for them sort of concealer to last, so this works relatively well, at least with the powder that I've been using. So yeah, this one I think is one of the favorite products that I've tried in with this particular brand. So let's go to the Only Cheek products. They have recently launched some stick cheek products. They had the whole range. They had two blush shades, then they had some bronzer, contouring shades, and a highlighter, but the sticks were quite expensive. They were like, again, going to the more €25 marks, and I thought that I have enough of a stick cheek product that I'm gonna spend the money, but I did get something that was a bit more inexpensive. So this is from their Natural Glow line, and this is the Berry Blush in the shade 4. They have, I think, two like highlighter shades in this line, and then two blush shades. This is the blush that I am wearing today, and I would say that I wouldn't say that this is actually that glowy. I think this is more of what I would say a satiny, more buildable blush. So that probably is a cue to you already that this isn't gonna be my favorite blush formula ever, because I do actually like my blushes to pack a punch from the go. But I do think that despite the fact that even though it's buildable, I could layer this to be more of a opaque finish, and I do think it looks very nice. This was very easy to work with. But as I said, if you want super punchy pigmented blushes, I don't think this is the formula for you. The shade of this one is also nice, but yeah, this was, I'd say, alright product. As I said, the glowy term in this one, I would say more satin would be maybe the right description, but I do still think that if you don't like full-on matte blushes and you're looking for something more buildable in terms of liquid blushes, I do think this is a good choice and maybe some product that you could test out. Okay, then next we're gonna go through the lip products, and one of them I'm wearing, and there's two that I tried. So let's first discuss the one I'm wearing, and this again goes to maybe to the products that I'm gonna say were the favorites in this one. So I tried one of their glosses, so this is the Luminous Shine Hydrating and Plumping Lip Gloss, and mine is in the shade 2 Old Rose. I'm gonna show this closer. So this is kind of an interesting shade because it kind of looks maybe mauvish in the tube, but it actually has this very pearlescent sort of pigment in it, so it's actually more of a like pearlescent gloss when you put it on your lips. I think this is a very lovely gloss formula. This feels very comfortable. I can actually show the applicator. The applicator actually has a bit of a divot in it, which is actually very nice because you can then get more product, so you don't have to continuously do this by going to a tube multiple times. And I do also think the applicator size is very nice. It's quite a precise, especially as someone like me who already no longer has the sort of, what would I say, the smoothest lip line, so I do appreciate precision with my lip products. This feels lovely on the lips, and even though it has the plumping term in the name description, this isn't plumping in the way that it feels cold or makes your lips stink, because I do know that a lot of the plumping products these days, they either hurt your lips or then they have the cooling sensation. So I think with this one, if you are expecting that sort of thing, I think you might be disappointed. But if you're looking for just a good basic gloss that feels very good and has a sort of very good precise applicator, I don't think you're gonna go wrong with this one. And I think the glosses are more in the cheaper side of their line. But this one, lovely, and definitely one of the favorite formulas from the line. Then a relatively new product from them, so this is the Lip Glow Oil Balm. So they pretty much hop into the train of whatever everyone else has been doing, meaning that they've been releasing these sort of lip balms in a tube, and I do appreciate this one, that this has a very sort of small and precise applicator, because I've been avoiding buying these purely for the reason that a lot of these have pretty, how should I say, wide applicators, which means that especially because this is a shade that has quite a bit pigment to it, I then need something a bit more precise to make it work on my lips. So at least with the applicator, this actually is pretty okay. This is more of a, because as I said, this has a bit of a pearlescent formula in it, meaning that it does have a bit of a like sort of small shimmer particles in it. This is purely a sort of this glossy kind of gloss, which gives you the kind of sort of nice mauvish color on your lip. They do have a pretty decent range with these ones. There were some more berry shades, and then there was a couple of more like brownish shades. So I do think depending what your preference is, you are gonna be able to find a sort of shade that you like. Do I like this as much as I like the gloss? No, I still prefer the gloss purely because it has an applicator that I like, and the gloss does have these sort of small shimmer particles in it. But if you are more of a person who likes this gloss to give them a glossy sheen, and you want this sort of a colored lip oil balm, then I don't think you're gonna be disappointed with this one. And again, I don't think these were like that expensive. But a sort of, what I would say, this is nice, but I like this one more. So let's get to the last product, and this is the mascara that I'm wearing. So this is their, what was this called? Nordic Berry Length and Volume Mascara with Cranberry and Lush Lengthening Complex. I don't know where they got the volume for this one. So this has now, the formula has settled for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna go straight on and say that this isn't going to be my favorite mascara. I'm actually gonna be decluttering this after I've done this review video. I usually try to make an effort to use my mascaras up, but with this one, I have to work so much with this to get the result that I have for today that I just don't have the time, for example, on my work mornings when I'm on a sort of schedule with my makeup. So with this one, to get the result that I got today, I had to layer this 4 times, and that is too much for a mascara. Like 2 times or 2 to 3 times, yeah, but if we go to the layering to 4 to 5 times and the result still isn't what I would call wowing, then I think it's safe to say that this isn't a formula for me. I do appreciate the wand, because the wand of this one, as I have shown, it was this sort of a triangular, very skinny wand. It is a plastic bristle wand, but I'm not gonna hold that much against it, because some of plastic bristle wands have worked out very well in terms of the fact that if the mascara formula itself has been good. But this formula, I would say that the lengthening, now that the formula has dried up a little bit, yeah, kinda, I could say that it does lengthen, and I do think this separates the lashes quite nicely, but I'm still maybe struggling to recommend this, because I could still think of that there are still better also lengthening and separating mascaras that you get the result much quicker compared to how much you have to work with this one. This also wasn't cheap. I think with full price this is somewhere around 17 euros, and for that price I would say that look into maybe Maybelline and L'Oreal, for example, because Maybelline and L'Oreal are both brands that have a plethora of different kind of mascaras in their line, and I think you might be able to get something better, because this is just, it was just too much work for me. However, if you are okay with the fact that the mascara doesn't do a lot, but you are someone who just has very voluminous and long lashes and you actually just need something that separates them nicely, then this could be a good option, but for me, this is too much work. So, how do I feel about this brand now that I have actually like tried most of the, like almost full face of them? As I said, I do think these 2 are gonna be my favorite products. The concealer might actually be something that I might be rebuying. The gloss, maybe not rebuy it, because we all know that I have a lot of glosses, and we are gonna be having my declutter series soon, so we're gonna be doing a lip product declutter at some point very soon. But these two would be the products that I would say that were my favorites. I do also think that what I would say worked okay was the foundation, but I do think that for what I still prefer with my foundations, I am still gonna look for their sort of other foundations to see that would they maybe suit a bit better, because as I said, on a long day this did get a bit too glowy at the end of the day. And there is nothing wrong again with these two, so with the lip oil balm and the blush, these just weren't sort of like, in terms of the fact that what my makeup preferences are, these weren't perfect, but these still worked very nicely. The only very like dud was the mascara, so this is something that I would absolutely say that skip, don't even consider buying this one. But I'd say that if this is a brand that is accessible to you, then why not try it out? I do think they have some nice products, and if you especially like this sort of very natural Nordic beauty-esque kind of style that they advertise these products with, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed. I do think like the quality was pretty good, even though some of these products are a bit on the sort of mid-range pricing in terms of drugstore prices, but still I think very sort of nice formulas, and as I said, most of the stuff did work quite nicely. Comment down below, have you tried this brand, or are there, for example, other brands that I should maybe look into and do maybe this sort of one brand reviews on my channel. If you like this video, push the like button and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I'll see you in another video. Bye bye!